All right, and it's time. She's in the house. Kathy Holman, Prairie Wife in Heels, joins us here in the studio. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
Hey, we've got, oh boy, do we have things to talk about today.
As always.
Yeah, our topic today is social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we ask people to weigh in on our Facebook pages, our respective Facebook pages, K2, and also mine and yours. And boy, did we get comments.
Definitely. And I was surprised at the mix because, of course, they were responding to the questions on social media. And I was surprised with the mixture of positive and negative using social media to let us know about it. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, a little ironic in some
yeah,
cases.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So I thought maybe we would just throw this statistic out here to just kick it off because I think it can be, for me personally, I feel like everyone's on social media. Everyone I know is on social media. My parents are. My grandmother is not, but she's also 86. But just statistically, so in 2008, 24% of the U.S. population used social media. Roger, do you have any guess what the percentage is now?
I'm guessing 60s, 70s.
Oh, it is 81%. 81% of the U.S. population uses it, and that's according to Statista.com. Something else I thought was interesting is what social media platform is the most popular. So, Roger, once again, I'm throwing this at you because Susan, sadly, I didn't even think to hide these statistics from her to make her guess. But what do you think is the most popular social media platform?
It would go by age, but I'm thinking Facebook still.
Still Facebook. So it is actually, according to Forbes.com, YouTube.
Oh,
which
really?
I didn't even think of YouTube as
I don't either. Yeah.
as a social
That's
media
weird.
platform. But we were talking to Ian, who is our tech guy in the house, and he was saying technically because you can comment and you can communicate on it back and forth, it would count as social media. So YouTube had 73% and Facebook had 68% as far as most popular.
And then the others that were listed were Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, and WhatsApp, which I don't even know what that is.
WhatsApp is like a like instant messaging kind of situation.
Okay.
So how many different platforms do you have, Kathy?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I knew this was going to come up. I want to do a disclaimer here that I am on social media partly because of the blogging situation. So some of your readers may not know, but I have a blog called prairiewifeinheels.com. So I use social media to promote the blog posts I'm putting up, to make connections, to get interviews with celebrities. Like that's how I got my interview with Dolly Parton, and there's some other TV stars. It was all through Twitter and social media making those connections. So I have a YouTube channel as Prairie Wife. I have a Facebook page as Prairie Wife. I have an Instagram page as Prairie Wife. I have Pinterest as Prairie Wife. I have LinkedIn as Prairie Wife, and I have Twitter as Prairie Wife. So that is six.
Cow.
Yeah, that is six social media platforms. Personally, though, where it is just my personal stuff, I have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. Everything
And my daughters
else,
informed me that that's for people of, our generation.
Us older.
Yeah. Facebook
Which
definitely.
wouldn't include you, but
So here for Wyoming, Facebook is where it's at. I use the Twitter that's how I get out nationwide to do stuff. So Facebook is definitely where it's at. And the reason I started on Facebook, which I've been on that for a decade now, was for the very same reason that a lot of other people said, like Cindy, she said, I've connected with people that are near and dear and real through social media. I got on there so that my parents could see pictures of the kids.
Right, and a lot of people who commented had that or something very similar.
Yeah, Linda right here said, I like getting to see my grandkids grow up across the nation, but still get to see.
Yep, and like being able to keep in contact with family and friends that live far away. Keeping up with family and friends is kind of a recurring theme. I know for me, it's a way to keep touch with people that I otherwise probably would not have, or refound childhood friends or people from high school.
That's the same with me.
Yeah.
People I used to work with.
Which it really is fun. I definitely like that aspect. And my parents don't have smartphones and things like that. My siblings, that I can, shoot them a text of the kids. But my parents, that's how they can see their grandkids growing up because they can only fly out here every 3 months. They live on the other side of the country. So I think that's been a theme throughout all these comments, is that it's great for those connections. But as I know you
And
guys
it's a big but, too.
discussed earlier, it can. So I wanted to say this. This is one of the negatives, and then we're going to go on to the whole troll conversation. But Robin said, I don't like how it's a brain drain and time vampire.
Yep.
And that is so true. I am 100% guilty. I get on to do a post that's, blog related, and I end up spending, an hour reading articles on Twitter, and I wish that were an exaggeration.
Yeah.
And Melanie said, good, the way positive messages, important news alerts, and charitable opportunities can be shared. But in bad, the horrible comments and rants that people would never have said pre-social media. And that pretty much is spot on. The keyboard warriors, people who are hiding behind the screens. You would never say that stuff.
No,
and
that's what anonymity allows.
Right.
It allows them to be nastier than they could ever be in person.
And also, someone made a really good point, and I can't find the quote.
Was that Brenda about the bullies?
Yeah, about the bullies.
Yeah.
Would you read that, and then we can talk about that?
Brenda said, there's good and bad. I think it's added more stress to teenagers. They used to go home to be away from bullies, and now the bullies can follow them home through social media. Often these kids don't understand it's okay to block the bullies.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that is a huge point that she made, that you can no longer get away from the bullies. So I have an education degree, and every 5 years you have to redo it. So this year I took a 6 credit hour college class on cyberbullying and the effects of bullying on kids. And that was one of the main points about it. Is now with technology, it used to be you got made fun of at school, but you could go home, you would play with your neighborhood friends, you would play with your siblings and kind of get lifted up, forget about it, move on. And I can speak that from personal experience. But now you're getting bullied all the time because you get there and you check your Instagram feed and someone said something mean, or someone's sending you a screenshot of what Joey said about Susie, and then you're and so on and so forth. So I think that actually touches base with that past show we did about technology.
Exactly.
And I think as parents, we need to be aware of cut that time off.
Well, and it's instantaneous now. I have to say, I have done this, dare I say it, 48 years now. When I started out, if a listener or a viewer didn't like you, you got a letter. And then later, maybe you got a fax telling you what a schmuck you are.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
I know. And now it is, as you say, it is instantaneous, and it is anonymous. Well, the letters and faxes were anonymous too.
Yeah.
But that gives people the courage to be far bigger jerks than they'd ever be if they ran into you at the grocery store.
And would you guys agree, too, that mob mentality that applies in real life, you think of the pitchforks and going and burning Frankenstein, that same mob mentality is online as well. You
Very
get
much.
one person that makes a negative comment and
Sure.
whoosh,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just opens
And
up the
especially
doors.
if it's incorrect. So someone will start out on something and they're sharing fake news. I hate that term, but
Yeah.
or something that is incorrect.
Yeah.
And if you go in and you say, hey, I'm sorry, but that is not right, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden all the pitchforks get pointed at you. And then you're in the thick of it.
Yeah,
So-
trying to defend someone. And so because I'm a blogger and I have had that, you guys heard that social media presence that I have. Not that I'm like anything huge or wow, but I am out
come on,
there.
you are. You know you
Big
are.
Whatever.
doings here.
But, I do put myself out there, and I have gotten criticized and I've gotten torn down verbally. And there have been repercussions. There are people that thought that it was inappropriate of me to share my mastectomy pictures on my blog. They thought it was inappropriate, and because of that, they tried to get me removed from volunteer positions in the community.
Wow.
And I knew when I put those pictures out that there were some people that wouldn't understand where I came from, and I put disclaimers on every blog post. The first sentence, these are for educational purposes for women that are going through this, but yet still there were people that didn't think it was okay. And so I think that we really do have to be aware, if you are taking a risk or if you are posting something, you might have repercussions job-wise. I mean, look at what happened with Josh Allen and the Twitter right there, where he had stuff he did as a high schooler and it came back to haunt him. So if you are on social media, I guess my point is you do have to be aware that you are putting yourself out there. Is it okay that people do that? No, that they tear you apart and that there's trolls, but it is kind of the way that it is.
Also, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, also, young people don't realize that they for some reason there is this compulsion to share every aspect of your life online. Future employers are going to look at that.
Yep.
They're going to look at those wonderful drunk pictures of you on St. Patrick's Day and say, "Whoa, maybe not." If it's between you and another applicant or whatever, that could be the tipping point. Or you're expressing outrageous opinions online, can cost you a job offer, a
We've
TV
seen
show.
that happen,
It can cost you any number of things. So think before you share everything in your personal life.
Well, and I think this is important too, what Nancy pointed out. She said, overall, I like social media because I'm able to connect with family and friends so easily. One must be very careful, though, when communicating through written word, because without eye contact, seeing body language and facial expressions, and hearing tone of voice, so much can be misunderstood, which leads to unnecessary turmoil.
Can I get an amen?
Said,
Hello.
Nancy.
Yeah,
Well
for
said.
sure. And I just wanted to say, I have this quote here, Roger. It just made me think of it when you were talking. Never before has a generation so diligently recorded themselves accomplishing so little.
Here's my breakfast. Yeah.
And I'm guilty.
I do that too.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, but on the other hand, I don't know. It's if someone doesn't like it, unfollow me. I will never be hurt by someone unfollowing me. I will never know about it, chances are. And I think that's something we need to give ourselves permission to do too. As a mom, I know that there's this whole thing with moms and social media. And part of the reason I started the blog was to be real and be like, yes, I feel like shaking my children. I don't do it, but I feel like it. And sometimes my house is trashed and yada, yada. But a lot of people only put up good. And it can be overwhelming and it can start chipping away at our self-esteem, which is so fragile anyway, when you see someone that's always making lunch for their kids and it's beautiful and in a bento box and things like that. So give yourself permission to walk away. To unfollow. No one will know if you block or mute. And I think sometimes you need to do that for your own mental health. I did that with the whole politics thing. I just decided, you know what? I'm done. I'm not posting any more of my opinions. I'm just going to scroll past. It's no good. It doesn't matter, even if I'm trying to say something nice.
You're not gonna
like
change
Susan
someone's
said,
mind,
right?
yeah.
It's just good. And same with the direct sales. That's a big thing now too, is a lot of people use Facebook for direct sales. They're selling makeup, they're selling clothing, which amen. Go for it. Do what you can do to help your family. And if you're sick of seeing someone's posts like that, just mute it. They don't need to know. You're not, it's okay. Or just every once in a while, just do a like and a share and help that person out. But that doesn't mean you have to buy from them.
Well, and also, too, I wanted to make sure we got Zach's comment in here. I hate the armchair public flogger, the folks on the rants and raves and classified sites who, instead of going and talking to their neighbors about their weeds or awful parking jobs, we've all had them, they instead post pictures on Facebook to get other armchair floggers to promote violence. Actually, anyone who responds to someone with whom they disagree with threats of violence needs some communication training, at the very least. But that's one of those things, too. And I know exactly what he's talking about in which sites, but we see that on our own sites. I see that all the time. We put up a crime story, and you have people who are going, hang them.
Which they would never.
Oh my gosh!
I'm amazed at what people will waste their time with a comment that means nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not going to have an impact, and it's certainly not going to help the situation. It's that I feel like the same rule that we have face to face, we should have with social media. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah,
and I admit I've been guilty of maybe commenting when I should have just kept my mouth shut. We've all done that, where you like type the big paragraph and then you go, and you just delete it all. But it still feels good to type it out there sometimes. So another thing that I wanted to say, because I really do believe strongly in this, is this quote: don't use social media to impress people, use it to impact people. And I really liked that one, because that's what I try and do. I actually on the post today, there's a woman from Jackson Hole who's a stylist who wrote a guest post on my blog today. And she said, with Wyoming as our nation's last frontier, Wyoming is just as isolated as it ever was. And then she says, or is it? Social media, with all its evils, also serves to bridge the gap in this far-flung state.
And remember, we're all more than who we voted for.
Right. Exactly.
You don't have to. It's good to find an old friend. I don't necessarily worry about who you voted for. I worry about how you're doing.
Right.
I want to hear about what's happened since we last saw
Yep.
each other.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. And I think that's probably a good place to leave it. Then we've done it again. We've run out of time.
No.
Kathy Ullman, Prairie Wife in Heels, thank you so much for coming in as usual.
Thank you
And
for having me.
We'll cook up something good for next week.
Of course.
Okay, thanks.